Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Joy with Intention, the podcast. I'm Joy, your host. So lovely to have you here. Today we'll be talking all about productivity, entering your productivity era. I'm really excited to do this episode because I've not always been someone who's been very productive, who's been very disciplined, but I've recently found some things that actually do work for me. So I just wanted to share those with you guys today. As I do say in all of my episodes, for those who are watching, if you do see me looking to the side, it's because I'm just looking at my notes. I'm not ignoring you guys, don't you worry. I hope you guys have all had a lovely week. I hope you're all having a lovely day. I hope that maybe if you're in a bit of a rut or you're not having the best day, I hope this episode can really inspire and motivate you to go get some work done, go achieve your goals, and also to take it easy on yourself and really look after yourself as well, because looking after yourself and then also putting in the work, it all works together. By the way, guys, this episode is basically for everyone, regardless of whether you're a student, whether you're in a career currently, maybe you stay at home and you have loads of tasks to do, you have a lot of maintenance to do, whatever it is. The things we're going to talk about today, they're transferable to everyone's lives, so stick around if you wish. We're going to talk about really good stuff today. You don't want to miss out. So yeah, let us get straight into the episode. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Well, hello guys, welcome to another episode. We are getting straight into the episode today. Yeah, we're talking all about productivity. These are tips coming from someone who's not always been very productive, and I've always been organized, but I kind of use that as like a way to mask me actually procrastinating, if you know what I mean. So like, okay, I'd have loads of school tasks to get done. I'd sit there saying, oh yeah, I'm making a study timetable. Oh yeah, I'm sorting out my folders. Oh yeah, I'm organizing myself. But then I'd just be sitting and doing that instead of actually getting my work done. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting yourself organized, but if you're clearly using it as a mask for your procrastination, we need to stop that. I had to stop that, and I did. So yeah, I don't want to keep you guys for too long because I think we all know by this point I tend to ramble, I tend to go off topic and I tend to make these episodes go on for super long, but I wanna get to the point today. I really wanna bash out the facts. I really wanna give you guys a really good episode to get you going. Maybe if you need a bit more motivation, need to be inspired, you need maybe just, a bit of a pep talk. This is what this episode is for. So we are gonna be getting ourselves together today. So number one, have your why set out. So number one, you want to remember where you're going and what you're trying to achieve. So lead with purpose, because as I did say in the winter arc episode, most people do tend to give up on their goals, or do tend to just not even see the point of doing the task that they want to do or putting in the work that they want to, because they don't have their why. They don't know where they're going or why they're doing this. And I know this is such a cliche thing to hear. I'd always hear people say, know your why, remember your why. And I'd be like, guys, why are you being so over dramatic for? Like, I just never used to think it actually works. But then I actually tried it once, and I was like, wait, okay, so I have a goal to work towards now. Now I'm finding that when it's getting tough or when I don't want to do it, I'm like, you don't want to do it right now, but just think about how it's going to pay off. You can't get to that other stage if you don't complete this one and you don't ace it. So like, I'm now applying for unis and stuff. Now when A-levels are really getting tough and they're getting hard, I remind myself, you know what? You've got to put the work in whether you like it or not, because most of your unis want top grades, but you're not going to get those grades and get into those unis if you don't put the work in. So remember your why, lead with purpose. If you can, when you wake up every morning, set an intention for your day, and how you do start your day really does matter. So say like, I always used to wake up every single morning, immediately I'd be talking down on myself, immediately I'd be talking down on my day. I'd immediately start walking into the day with a whole pessimistic view. But I had to stop that because I realized the way I started my day was affecting the rest of my day. So like, for one example, maybe if I woke up earlier one day and I tried like a slow morning morning, I woke up earlier so I could get everything done, but I would have a lot more time. I could get ready, I could get everything ready and done. And I get it done at a pace that I actually can work with, and that makes me feel comfortable. Because I always used to be like, you know what, I'll just wake up later in the morning, it's okay. And then now I'm rushing every morning. Now I'm starting off my morning stressed, panicked, I'm anxious. And especially when it's exam season, that's not working in my favor. So I was like, you know what, why don't I try these slow mornings? Why don't I wake up earlier so then I can move at my own pace? I've started my morning relaxed, because especially if you're under a lot of stress, the best thing is to have slow mornings. Slow mornings can also just get you in focus. They can get you prepared for the day, especially if you have tasks that maybe you forgot to remind yourself of. Your brain can work at a pace where you'll remember them, and it just really helps. So slow mornings, I'm really subscribing to them lately, and I think you guys should too, because they've really helped me. So yeah, make sure to lead with your purpose. Know why you're doing what you're doing, know where you're going. And even if you don't, because not everyone does, I know for the longest time I didn't, but then you know what, you tell yourself, you know what, I want to make myself proud. Maybe even make it to yourself. Maybe I want to make younger me proud. And don't set these unrealistic expectations on yourself. I used to do that to myself, and it really broke me. I'd tell myself, okay, if I'm not getting top grades, I'm basically worthless, I'm basically nothing, I can't do this. If I got one bad grade, I'd basically crash out. But then I had to tell myself, you know what, I want to make myself proud. So whatever day I'm on, I will give as much as I can. Maybe some days I can give 100%. I will give 100%. Maybe some days 40% is all I have to give, so I will give that 40%. Maybe some days 60% is all I have to give, so I will give 60%. I will give whatever I have on that day, but then I will always also realize that, you know, I need to look after myself too. And I feel like once you master being able to put the work in, and also being able to look after yourself too, I feel like that can just be so powerful, and you realize, wait, I actually can do this. All that time I was sitting there procrastinating and bed rotting, I thought I just had to keep going on and on and on and on, just like a robot, like a machine. But then I was like, wait, no, actually I can do some work done, I can have a rest, I can have a break. And I feel like once I realized that's how my routine can go and that's what I'm comfortable with, it made my life so much more easier. Number two, make a make a realistic to-do list. So I've just come off half term recently. This week was my first week back, and I decided this academic term I am going to lock in, because I was just really not locking in last academic season. I was not preparing myself, I was not organized, I was not getting tasks done when I needed to, I was always doing it last minute. And I just decided, you know what, for this term I'm gonna get myself together. Maybe get some paper, maybe if you need a notebook, buy yourself a notebook, buy yourself a planner, maybe even use it digitally. I use Microsoft To-Do List app. I downloaded that app, and what I do, I basically put every single to-do thing that I have, I put it all the way down on that list, and I basically get myself prepared. And it has this really cool feature where you can have like your list of everything you have to do, but then you can also tag everything into my day. So I have everything there, but then the ones that I want to do today, I will click on my day. So when I go in the my day section, I have everything that I need to do for that day, and it's so good. I feel like, especially because for me personally, doing to-do list at night just works a lot more easier, because like I used to be like, okay, I'll wake up tomorrow morning, I'll make a to-do list, I'll write down the things I need to do, but then for me, by the time I've woken up in the morning again, I've forgotten everything that I need to do. I've forgotten the intentions that I needed to go with. I've forgotten what I was planning to do, what goals I wanted to achieve for that day. I've basically forgotten everything. And I was like, you know what? I've got to change this up. So I was like, I don't want to have an extra task tomorrow morning. You know, maybe I'm waking up tired, maybe I'm waking up rushed, because you never know. So I'm like, you know what? It may just be an extra 10 minutes, but I will make a really good to-do list. I will make it very detailed, so I'm not getting to a place and I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm not getting to the library and then like, what do I do now? I want to stay prepared and make sure that I'm using my time wisely now. And I'll also factor in breaks because I feel like I had to realize that, because I always used to sit there and think, oh yeah, studying, it takes forever. I can sit there for 3 hours straight and go on and going on, and I was always comparing myself to other people. But then I had to realize that I work at my own pace. Now, I don't personally find the Pomodoro technique the most effective for me personally, but I think I realized maybe I need to work 45 minutes, take a break, 45 minutes, take a break. And in that break, I'll get up, I'll physically leave my workspace if I can, because my brain needs to differentiate from when I'm taking a break and for when I'm still doing work. It needs to actually take a break. So like even sometimes in class, like my teacher, he'll be like, okay guys, you've got like a 10-minute break, do whatever you want. In those breaks, I basically used to go on my phone and just scroll and scroll and scroll. But then I realized, you know what? I'm literally on a screen every single day, and I check my screen time, it's like 8 hours. I'm like, no, I need to give myself a break. I need to give myself a rest. How am I sitting here always on my phone? And I realized, okay, I've got a bit of a phone addiction. So I'm like, you know what? When I'm resting, I will take myself away from the screen. Whether if that's just looking out the window, maybe that's just taking a walk around, maybe that's reading a book, maybe that's doing some colouring in, doing something that will actually stimulate my brain in a healthy way, especially if you want to keep a healthy mind while you're trying to get some work done. Now, this can be any work that you're doing. It can be academic, it could be in your career, it could be maybe you work and live at home, maybe you just live at home and you want to get stuff done around the house, maybe you volunteer in something else. Whatever it is that you do and you know you need to get it done, make sure that you have a to-do list, you have it set out, you know what you're gonna do, so you don't go and then you end up, you're finding yourself, you're disorganized. I don't know for you guys, but for me personally, it makes my mind feel so stressed. Like, I don't know, once I know I'm disorganized, my brain just can't function. And then sometimes I'll even be less likely to even get anything done because I'm like, you know what? I'm not even prepared or organized. My brain just physically can't do it if I'm not organized. So yeah, make sure you have a realistic to-do list. Make sure that it's tasks that you know you can get done in that amount of time as well, because if you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and you've planned yourself about 9 tasks that you know very well you cannot get done today, you know very well you can't get done. Let's be kind to ourselves, okay? Because sometimes when you make an unrealistic to-do list, okay, you've gotten about 3 tasks done. Now, if you put a realistic task and maybe put like 5 tasks that you could do, and then after you got those tasks done, at the end of the day, aren't you going to be feeling like, okay, I've accomplished something. I'm actually quite proud of myself. I did this. But then when you're sitting there and you've now got 9 tasks that you know you can't complete, they're really tedious tasks, they're really lengthy tasks, and you know that you haven't time blocked in an effective way for you to get all those done. By the time you get to the end of the day, you're going to be feeling like you've done nothing. You're not going to be feeling like you've accomplished anything. You may not even have that feeling of satisfaction or be like, okay, I've got these ticked off, you know what I mean? You'll maybe, so for me personally, I feel even worse than before I started, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, let's make it realistic, let's be kind to ourselves, and let's make sure that we're learning how we can work. So if you need to make a to-do list the night before, you do that. It will only take you about 15 minutes. I'll put it down. I'll be like, okay, I need to read this article. Where do I find it? I need to do this conversation class card. I need to do this piece of work. I need to do this piece of work. Even because I also factor in the things I do for the podcast as well, whether it's with the social media, whether it's I'm making a resource, whether it's I'm editing, whether it's that I need to upload something. I have a lot to do. And also, you know, I'm active in church as well, so that will take time out of my time as well. So I'll need to plan for that as well, so that I can make sure, although I'm a podcaster, although I volunteer and serve in church like many other people do, even though I do all of this kind of stuff, I'm a student first. And once you know, also that means get your priorities straight, know what you need to do. So like for me, I remember I was watching a guy and he was like, for us students, he was saying, before anything, you are a student first. So and I feel like that's the balance that I needed to realize. I was trying to be everything all at the same time, but I realized, you know what, I'm a student first, and everything else has to revolve around me being a student. So I'm a student first, and then I'm a podcaster, then I do all this kind of stuff. And once I started to get that priority straight, it helped me circle everything around that and helped me to plan my time effectively around the main responsibility that I have. So yeah, that's a really good tip that I would say. So, maybe if it's, maybe you stay at home, maybe you're a housewife or house dad, make sure you know what you are first. Maybe you're a career driven person, maybe you're in a career, maybe, I don't know, whatever it is that you are doing, make sure that you know your priorities and you get them straight, because that will help you so much, especially will help you to stay less overwhelmed, especially because I'm someone who can get very overstimulated very quickly. So I feel like knowing my priorities, knowing how everything goes, it really helps me personally. Well, hello, you guys. How are we? I hope you're enjoying the show so far. I just wanted to give you guys a really quick reminder of ways that you can help to support the show and get it out there to so many other people about the candid wellness conversations we have here surrounding lifestyle and personal growth. You can either give the show a quick subscribe, rate, and review from whatever platform you're listening on, and share with a friend. And if you do want to give to the show financially to help keep it running, there will always be links in my show notes which you can click on, and it will take you to all of the links to all of the podcast social media so you can connect with me, and all of the links to support if you wish to. And thank you so much for all of your support, you guys. It's truly and greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. So yeah, I put tip number 3, understand your mind. I've basically already touched up on this. Understand your mind, understand how you work. And I feel like that's so key, because especially I was someone who didn't really understand how my mind works, how my brain works, what works best for me. So I was just often going with the flow, but then I had to realize, wait, I didn't realize that I need to be taking breaks in between. I thought I was just one of those people who could study 3 hours on end and I'd be fine. I'd be gliding, I'd be flying. But then I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, wait, why can't I do? And then I actually had to realize how I work, and I've started to implement that, and I've seen a lot more results. But try time blocking as well. So when you're planning your to-do list, also try to schedule in things that you like, schedule in your hobbies, schedule in things that you'll get excited about, because that will also really help you to get stuff done. And also, we are not robots, you guys. We are not machines. We're not just supposed to be on go, 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 go. We're not just supposed to be getting stuff done all the time, all the time, all the time. We're just working around the clock. That's not how we're human. That's not how we're supposed to be built. We're also supposed to enjoy this life. We're actually supposed to not just exist but live. So if you can, plug in the things that really get you excited, that really will, be like, okay, you know what, maybe today's going a bit hard, but I've got this at the end of the day. You know what, let me just put in the extra work now. It's only for a few hours. Just really allow yourself to have fun as well, because that is so key as well. Allow yourself to actually live life. This also helps when you're really feeling low and you're feeling really low on energy. This helps me so much when I'm feeling like I just can't go any further, and then I block all of the things that I'm excited about, all of the hobbies, all that kind of stuff, any events. Once I see those on my calendar, I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. And then number 5, tell yourself to just get up and start. Wow, guys, I really had to learn how to do this. I really just had to tell myself, you know what, get up. Like, you're procrastinating. Sometimes it just takes for you to tell yourself to get up. And that's what I had to do. I literally told myself, girl, get up. And I'd just be like, you know what? I don't want to. I'm not going to wait until I want to. I'm going to start learning discipline, and I'm just going to be disciplined enough to get up, even when I don't want to. Because what's the worst that could happen realistically? So even something that can work really well is the 5-minute rule. So the 5-minute rule is basically get up, get a timer, and basically sit there and do whatever you need to do for 5 minutes. And it's like, come on now, you have no excuses. It's 5 minutes. See, and sometimes you'll even end up getting more done. Because it's always the starting of it that's a bit hard. But once you actually get into it, and once you actually find your flow and find your groove, you actually start to realize, okay, I can do this. You start to find your flow. So just sit there 5 minutes when you really feel like you can't do it. 5 minutes, sit there, put a timer on, just say, okay, I'm going to set myself a goal of 5 minutes. What can I get done in 5 minutes? Sometimes you'll even end up exceeding those 5 minutes, and you never know what you could do as well. And also on that, sometimes you need to be your own motivator, and you just have to tell yourself to keep going and to keep pushing, because as I did say in my last episode, even if no one's cheering you on or clapping for you, you've still got to clap for yourself, and you've still got to keep going, because realistically at the end of the day, it's your goals that you want to achieve. Not everyone else can keep going after you and keep running after you and keep having to pick up after you and keep telling you keep going, keep going, keep going, because it's your life. So yeah, obviously sometimes we'll need motivation, sometimes we'll need discipline, but don't rely on motivation over discipline, because motivation, although it's good, although it can be effective at times, it's not always there. So if you can, also discipline yourself enough to know that to allow yourself to know that I can't always rely on solely motivation. And just, I feel like discipline, it's something that you just, for me, it's something that I just do. It's something that I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna try and start, just because I'd sit there and I'd be like, oh, but I can't do it, oh, but I need to practice it, oh, but, and then I'd never even put that work in, and I had to realize, okay, I have to start, I have to get up and start, I had to stop being lazy, and I had to pick myself up. And then yeah, I said number 6, categorize your tasks. Number 7, use your breaks wisely. Rest during breaks, leave your desk, avoid scrolling on your phone, give your brain a chance to recharge. Especially when you realize that our brains were not meant to be sitting there literally scrolling every single day. Our eyes were not made for that. We were not made for that at all. We were not built for just sitting on our screens all the time. And it's like, that whatever it is that's on your phone, it can wait. It can wait. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but it can wait, you know? Set boundaries with yourself as well. Set boundaries with yourself in terms of whatever it is you need to. I had to set boundaries with myself in terms of my phone. I had to tell myself, you know what? I'm going to have to set a boundary here, and I'm going to have to tell myself, no, I'm going to have to be a lot more disciplined with myself. So that helps. So yeah, use your breaks wisely, because it's also really good, especially because I don't think that being on your phone or on a screen all the time is the best for your mental health either. I know it certainly is not the best for mine, especially when you're constantly on social media, you're constantly scrolling. For me, it's not the best for my mental health. It's when I'm sitting there scrolling and I'm bedrotting or whatever, I usually start to see a really bad decline in my mental health. But when I'm actually telling myself, you know what, maybe I'll pick up a book, maybe I'll do something like anything else, you know, maybe I'll actually try up a new hobby apart from being on my phone, then I actually start to realize, you know, maybe I'm not having a bad rut, maybe I'm not in a bad mood, maybe I just needed to do something that was actually stimulating my brain in a healthy way. And then number 8, focus on one task at a time if you can. If you're someone who has a very chaotic brain like me sometimes and you need everything set out, need everything laid out, try maybe focusing on one task at a time. Maybe try focusing on one thing at a time. Don't start jumping from task to task. Maybe if you know you need to do this task, do it, complete it, move on to the next thing. Do it, complete it, move on to the next thing. That's just personally what works for me quite a lot. And I used to be like, okay, but I don't want to do this. I get to a part where it's getting a bit hard, it's getting a bit tricky. Then I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to do it anymore. I basically click off and I basically move on to something else. But then I'm like, but I've still got to go back to that task realistically. I've still got to do it. And by the time I've moved away, I don't even want to do it anymore. Now I'm even less motivated to do it now than I actually was before. So yeah, because yeah, for some people multitasking can really reduce all productivity. So make sure that you're staying disciplined with yourself as well. And if you said you're going to do something, do it. Okay, if you said you're going to do something, do it. Number 9, apply the 80-20 principle to make productivity more manageable and impactful. So, I was like looking into this and I found it so interesting. So I found this article and I basically took some stuff from it. So what I put down is understand that 20% of your actions lead to 80% of your results. Focus on high impact tasks that make the most difference. So 20% of like our actions lead to 80% of our results. So this means that not everything on our to-do list has the same impact. Focusing on the most important tasks can lead to better results with less effort. So, we need to identify those high impact tasks. So for example, if you're a student, it might be studying for an upcoming test rather than reformatting notes. If you're a creator, it could be outlining content ideas rather than obsessing over minor edits. So, we should start each day by choosing our power tasks. So those are the few things that will make the most difference, and rather than a long, overwhelming list. So also I would say, if you're making a to-do list, maybe try and make those to-do lists. So maybe put like the smaller tasks that you can get really done really quickly, put those at the top, and then put the like more tedious tasks after. Put the harder tasks, the more lengthy tasks, put those closer to the end. I know it helps for me quite a lot, especially when the feeling is so satisfying. You can just click off those tabs or click off those to-do items. It can really help, and once you see that you've already gotten so much done, it can really help you already get so much more done. Especially because I think for me, sometimes I really have to look back at how far I've already come to appreciate where I am now, and really to keep me going. Because it's like sometimes I'll think I'm not making any progress. I think this even applies for life in general as well. When I'm thinking I'm not making any progress, when I think I'm not going anywhere, I'll then really get discouraged and I'll really get demotivated, and I'll be like, you know what, what's even the point? I don't even want to do this anymore. But then it's when I actually look back at about like how far I've come and how much progress I've already made, then I realize, you know what, I've already come this far. I can go a bit further. I can do this actually. If I could do that then why can't I do this? Maybe it's already given me the building blocks. It's already given me the foundation. I can do it. I just need to believe in myself and tell myself that, you know what, I can do it. I need to change my thought cycle. I need to change my thought pattern and actually believe in myself. And I also had to unsubscribe to the victim mentality. I was always telling myself, I can't do this because of this. Oh, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not. And I was realizing, wait, I'm literally treating myself like I'm a victim. And I feel like it's something that many of us can subscribe to and we won't even realize. But it's only when you're actually intentional in your actual thinking and you realize what you're actually thinking about, you realize the thoughts that are going through your mind, and you realize you're not helping yourself at all. You're basically making yourself into a victim, and that's not what we want to be, you guys. So yeah, I say let's definitely see if we can move away from that, if we can. And also, I just want to touch upon, as I've said in many of my episodes, you're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel like you can get things done. You're not always going to wake up every day feeling like, whoa, I'm so pumped up, I'm so ready, let's go. You're not always going to have the most happy, clappy thoughts in your mind. You're not going to be floating on the clouds all the time. You're not. Maybe if you're not feeling the best, try maybe a change of scenery. I love to watch a lot of study vlogs to get me motivated, to really get me into, maybe just even to get me into the flow of things. Maybe I've had a really long school break and I need to get into the flow of things. I'll watch a study vlog, and even most of the study vloggers that are like, they're really academic, but they'll be like, you know what, sometimes I wake up and I'm not feeling like I want to get anything done. I'll go and maybe go to a restaurant, I'll go to a cafe, I'll go to a library, I'll go somewhere where I can get things done. I can have a change of scenery. My brain can have a bit of a re-stimulation then it can get a new change, a new environment, because sometimes, especially once your environment becomes really mundane and it becomes really everyday, sometimes your brain can get tired, and that's normal, that's okay. That's why understanding how you work is so key, because once you understand how you work, you'll realize, okay, maybe this is just my brain telling me, maybe I just need to take things a bit slower, maybe I just need a change of scenery. Whatever works for you. We're not always going to have really happy clappy thoughts. We're not always going to have the most flowery thoughts. We're human, we have negative thoughts, that's life, that's part of who we are. But it's the difference between allowing them to pass over like a cloud and then allowing yourself to internalize them and making them into something that they're not supposed to be and spiraling with them. Now obviously there are some people who can't help this. Mental health does exist, we all have mental health, but there's some people who can't, but that's okay. If you can allow yourself to stray away from going down and spiraling, try to. I had to stop myself because I'm someone who, I have struggled with mental health in the past, but I really had to get myself out of that. I really worked to get myself out of that, and I'm in such a great place, honestly. And that's why I even started this podcast, so I could share that with you guys as well, because I realized, you know what, I don't want to be a victim anymore. I want to start living a more joy-filled life with intention. Hence the title of the show, Joy with Intention. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself, you guys. I had to start doing that as well. But I think part of the victim mentality is not also allowing yourself to be kind to yourself. I really had to realize that I'm human, and I had to appreciate that and actually realize that, not just tell myself you're human. Like, I had to realize that, and I had to be like, if I wouldn't treat someone else like that, if I wouldn't treat my own friends like that or my own siblings like that, why would I be treating myself like that? If I would be telling my friends not to do that to themselves, why would I be doing that to myself? You know what I mean? So yeah, let's definitely apply that into our lives a lot more. And then number 10, maintain balance and avoid burnout. Now, I basically said balance productivity with intentional rest and self-care. Recognize and celebrate every small win to build a positive relationship with productivity. So number 1 of this, look after yourself, take self-care days, take self-care hours, allow yourself to rest and recharge, because as I've said before, guys, we are not robots, we are not machines, okay? You're supposed to be looking after yourself and taking care of yourself. If you feel like you can't do it, maybe if you're not having the best day, maybe you're not feeling the best, maybe you're not feeling too good, allow yourself to take a break, allow yourself to rest. Maybe you just need a rest, allow yourself to, because especially when you realize most of the things that we're in, it's a privilege. We're actually so blessed to be in things that we're also in. So like sometimes I'll be really complaining about school. I'm like, it's getting really hard, it's getting really tough, but then I'll be like, you know what, I'm actually really blessed. There's loads of people out there, children out there, youth out there that are fighting for women out there that are girls out there that are fighting for an education. They can't get an education, so I'm sitting there and I basically have it handed to me on a silver platter, but I'm not putting the work in, I'm not using it to my fullest advantage. So maybe even one day I can even help them. We've got to also realize our blessings as well. So yeah, I think definitely look after yourself, you guys. Know what works for you as well. Know what kind of self-care works for you. Know what self-care is for you. For you, that can be maybe just closing down your laptop and sitting there and taking a rest. It could be reading a book. It could be watching some Netflix. It could be taking a nice warm shower. It could be going on a run. It could be going to the gym. It could be hanging with friends. Whatever works for you. And so like for me, I have a social battery, so people will know me as really outgoing, really bubbly. That's my personality, but then I also have a social battery, and once my social battery dies, I need to be alone, I need to be by myself, I need to recharge, I need to be at home. I need to just allow myself to sit and recharge, and that's what works for me. So I feel like also figure out what works for you guys as well. Especially if you're someone who works in a job where you work with people quite a lot, and maybe you're feeling you're feeling drained a lot. Maybe figure out like what exactly is it about the job that's draining you. Is it the fact that you always have to be social? Maybe you need to allow yourself to have days when you can just rest and recharge. Maybe it's the fact that you've got loads of work. Okay, how can you make those tasks a lot less tedious for yourself? Maybe, I don't know what it is, whatever it is, allow yourself to self-reflect. That's why I think also having a really good Sunday reset routine can be so good, like journaling, writing things down, reflecting on your week. That's why especially I upload these episodes on a Sunday, so you can use it alongside your Sunday reset and glow routine. Whether you're a guy or a girl, we all need to have a Sunday reset routine. So yeah, I think that's so good. And also remember to recognize and celebrate every win. As I said, you just being here itself is a blessing in itself, and the fact that you're still here and you're functioning, you're even having the opportunity to do what you're doing, it's a blessing. So allow yourself to enjoy that blessing, celebrate it, celebrate when you've made a win. Maybe you've not been having the best day so far, but you got up and you actually decided to do some work. You know what? You could have well sitting there like most people, like the average person, just said, you know what, there's not even any point, I'm just gonna sit here, I'm just gonna wallow. But no, you decided, I'm gonna get up. And also time, guys, time is so key. Like time is so effective. Like sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I've only got half an hour, I can't get any work done, there's no point. But I had to realize, wait guys, there's actually power in time. The much that 30 minutes can do, especially because I realized what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting there scrolling for 30 minutes and I'd be getting through so much just scrolling on my phone, and that was only 30 minutes. So I was like, imagine if I used that 30 minutes to invest in myself, whether that was actually doing tasks, or maybe that was looking after myself, or investing in myself, investing in my future. Whatever it is, it can be so key and so helpful as well. So recognize and celebrate every single win. And because I feel like that also comes from realizing how blessed you are. Allow yourself to enjoy your wins. Allow yourself to celebrate yourself, because you deserve to be celebrated. You know what I mean? So yeah, that also feeds into being kind to yourself and looking after yourself too. So number 11, I put obviously implementing self-care. So I just put some examples that I'll run down really quickly for you guys. So I put set boundaries, which means establishing clear start and stop times for work or study. Take micro self-care breaks. So try stretching or deep breathing in between tasks. Practice daily reflection, review your wins and areas for improvement. Prioritize your sleep. Set a consistent bedtime that aligns with your energy needs. Incorporate movement. Even a short walk can boost focus and reduce stress. Use positive reinforcement. Reward yourself for accomplishments, big and small. Talk good about yourself. Speak words of life to yourself, because your words do matter. Encourage yourself. Hype yourself up if you need to. Limit comparisons. Focus on your own goals and progress. And remember that it's okay to have off days. We are not robots, you guys. We can't work 24/7 around the clock all the time. So look after yourself, but always believe in yourself. So for those people who love having, extra resources, I basically compiled a bunch of people who have spoken on this topic. So it relates to all of the different things we've spoken about in this episode. So I will link all of their resources down below so you can go and check them out. So yeah. Number 1, James Clear. He has a book called Atomic Habits, and basically the book centers around the idea that small consistent actions can lead to big impactful changes over time. So he talks about habit stacking and suggests that linking a new habit to an existing routine. So this would relate to the building simple habits section, so that would be like building a productive habit, like maybe a 5-minute reflection if you can, or onto something that you already do daily, such as having like a coffee, whatever that you do every single day, just add it on. And then also number 2, identity-based habits. So he also argues that true behavior change comes from shifting one's identity. So like, I am someone who values productivity rather than focusing solely on outcomes of like, I want to get good grades. So that basically means that we should start to see ourselves more as people who are capable and committed, which is so good. It links to when I basically talked about, looking back about how far you've come. It will often inspire you to keep going, remind yourself that you're capable and you're committed, and in that victim mentality, this is really, really good. So yeah, he has a book called Atomic Habits. I will link that down below. And then he also has resources on his website, so I will link that down below. And then number 2, Cal Newport talks about deep work. Newport's deep work basically explores how to cultivate focus in a world full of distractions, which is crucial for staying productive. So number 1, time blocking. Newport suggests that setting aside dedicated time for focused, uninterrupted work is really, really good and really, really key. So this would basically fit into the time when I spoke about, schedule focus blocks, time blocking, really set yourself deep work. And maybe if you can't set yourself a timer, really allow yourself to get into deep work. Deep work is basically where you go into deep focus. So you sit there, maybe put on a timer, you say maybe for an hour, I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna get some work done. And Cal basically says that this can really help you feel a lot more control and less overwhelmed throughout your day. And then Cal also talks about, embracing boredom. So yeah, Newport talks about, embracing boredom by avoiding constant stimulation, like checking phones to improve attention span. So I think this can really fit into overcoming procrastination, and as it trains the brain to focus even when the task isn't instantly rewarding. So there's a book from Newport that you can find on Amazon. I will link that down below. And Charles Duhigg, I think that's how you say his name, basically his Power of Habit talks about how habits form and how understanding the cue routine reward loop can help people make lasting changes. He talks about number 1, the cue routine reward loop. So his work can be used to explain how you can identify the triggers for unproductive habits like procrastination and replace them with routines that support productivity. So for instance, if you tend to procrastinate after checking social media, maybe you could replace that cue with a 2-minute startup activity, like organizing your workspace. He also talks about suggesting to focus on Keystone Habits. So that's like exercise or a morning routine that naturally encourages other positive behaviors. So that would be, I would basically encourage you guys to maybe adopt one small keystone habit, like planning your day. This could trigger like a cascade of other productive behaviors. So yeah, there's a book, The Power of Habit, and it says also, I put here that there are several summaries and articles based on The Power of Habit available on major platforms like the New York Times and NPR, and maybe a summary on his website, I'm not too sure. But then we move on to Angela Duckworth about grit. Duckworth's grit basically emphasizes the power of perseverance and passion in reaching long-term goals. So she talks about building grit through small wins. So that basically means, she explains that grit isn't always about grand achievements, but it's built through small victories and perseverance. And I just want to encourage you guys to celebrate every small success in light of this, in your productivity era, entering your productivity era, as these wins and reinforce grit and help them keep you motivated and keep going and disciplined. And then she also talks about goal hierarchy. So she talks about organizing goals in a hierarchy, so like top level goals. So that would be maybe like a career vision or like an ultimate goal, like a long-term goal, supported by mid-level and then low-level goals. So this would tie into getting clear on your why, and just helps you guys really identify how each daily task connects to a much larger vision. So yeah, she has a book, I believe, and then there's also a TED talk that she has, which I will link down below. And then you have David Allen on getting things done. So his getting things done method focuses on organizing tasks to reduce mental clutter and increase focus. So number one, so capture and clarity. He basically emphasizes capturing tasks into a trusted system like a to-do list or planner and clarifying what each task requires. So this would be suggesting that, you guys should create a daily brain dump session or like a weekly planning time to reduce overwhelm. And then he goes and talk about the next action principle. So he basically suggests breaking projects into the next physical action. So this can help with procrastination as tasks feel more manageable and when broken down into more actionable steps. So he has a book and I think he has some resources. So I will link those down below too. Nearly coming to the end, you guys. Then we have Mel Robbins. She has the 5-second rule. So she basically says the 5-second rule is a tool for tackling hesitation by counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and then taking immediate action. So that reduces overthinking and self-doubt. So she talks about immediate action to overcome procrastination. So this can be like implemented in a section on procrastination. So this would basically be me telling you guys, take the first step on a task without over analyzing. So by simply counting down from 5 and starting the task, that you can then bypass the mental resistance. So this also kind of works in with the 5-minute rule. And then also we'll talk about building confidence through action. So she emphasizes that small decisive actions build confidence and encourage you guys to apply this whenever you guys start to feel procrastination creeping in, and celebrate those little moments of starting. So she has a podcast. And then you have, I don't know how to say his name, but I'm still gonna put it down, but you guys will see why I can't say his name when I put it down. I tried to watch some videos to see if anyone said his name, but I don't think anyone did. So yeah, but he has the concept of flow. He basically explores the concept of deep engagement and how being in a flow state leads to more satisfying and productive work. So he talks about number one, creating conditions of flow. So he says that, a flow state often requires clear goals, immediate feedback, and a balance between skill and challenge. So this would basically suggest to you guys, try focusing on a single task with clear objectives and remove distractions to enter into flow a lot more easily. And then also he talks about the joy and productivity. So he found that people are happiest when fully immersed in meaningful work. So this would be me reminding you that true productivity isn't just about getting things done, it's also about finding satisfaction in the work itself, which makes the journey a lot more sustainable. So yeah, he has TED Talks, I think he has a book, I'm not too sure, but I'll see if I can link it down below. Then lastly, Stephen Covey, he talks about the 7 habits of highly effective people. So his 7 habits explores foundational principles for personal and professional effectiveness. He basically starts with begin with the end in mind. His habit of beginning in the end with the end in your mind aligns with the clarifying of your why and setting that clear vision, leading with intention. And this would be basically encourage you guys to visualize your long-term goals and let that vision shape your daily choices. And then he also talks about putting first things first. So his idea of prioritizing tasks that are important but not urgent can help you guys to avoid reactive behavior. So yeah, this would really reinforce like scheduling time blocks and setting times for the high priority tasks to make sure that you're always moving forward with your larger goals, not jumping from task to task, and really putting like the smaller tasks first, you can get those done, and then going on the more tedious tasks. And I think he has a book, I think he has a website, and yeah. We have made it to the end of the episode, you guys. I'm so happy if you guys are still here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for you guys supporting the show. We are growing so much and so fast. It's crazy. I am honestly so grateful to you guys. I'm so grateful. And we're nearly coming up to a whole year of Joy with Intention, the podcast. In the new year, on January 5th, it will be officially 1 year of the podcast. But yeah, I just really want to thank you guys again for how much support you guys give. And you know, I really do have big visions for all of us. I really do think that we can all really help and support each other. So I'm really glad that I've been blessed enough to be able to create this space for us guys. And you guys, you're just amazing. You tune in all the time. You're always supporting me, letting me know. You're leaving rates and reviews, helping the show get out there to so many other people, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube, subscribing. You guys are amazing. I want you to know that. I love you guys. I cherish you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your day, week, evening, whatever time you're listening to this episode. Go share some love with some other people. Go share some light. Go that extra mile to be kind to other people. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for you guys, and I just really want you guys to know that, you know, I'm just really, I really am. I don't know how else to, I'm just really grateful. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support, you guys. Make sure to leave a rate or review if you wish, to help the show get out there. And I'm so thankful, and I love hearing about how the show impacts you guys, because on this side of town we are all about impact. You know, I've said multiple times, you know, numbers are cool, but what I'm really focused on is impact. Is this show really having impact? And I love to see that every week some of you guys come back and you're feeling impacted, you're feeling inspired. That kind of stuff is what I do this whole show for. So yeah, I'm really grateful for you guys sticking around, and I hope that you have a lovely rest to your day, and I will see you guys next week, hopefully. So yeah, thank you. And until next time, let's keep aspiring to living a more joy-filled life with intention. So yeah, I will see you guys very soon. Stay blessed, you guys. Bye.